In this video, I'm going to talk about how you can avoid some of the most common problems that people have with their computers. So something that people often come to me and say is when they're first starting out with computers and mobile phones is, I'm worried about accidentally breaking the phone or accidentally breaking my computer or destroying it somehow. And what I want to say is to reassure you that it's hard to do this. It's hard to permanently break your computer or your phone unintentionally. The way that computers and the software is designed is to try and make sure that things like this can't happen by accident. If you change a setting by accident, the settings can often be changed back or reset. If you make a more serious problem occurs in your computer, you can reset your system as well. So there's ways that you can get around these problems if they happen. So permanently damaging your computer or your phone is difficult to do. However, that being said, there are a couple of things to bear in mind, and in this video I'm going to talk about how you can avoid sort of making problems for yourself, I would say, on your computer or your phone. So two things that can happen. One is that you can accidentally delete things that you wanted to keep, such as photos or music or a letter, something that you wanted to keep on your computer for a long time, and then you accidentally delete it. And that can be a real pain and be quite frustrating. The second thing that you could do is accidentally delete something on your computer that your computer needs to work properly. And this is the sort of thing that would require like a system reset, which is a pain to do, and you might need to take it to a repair shop or something like that to get some help with that. So I'm going to show you how you can avoid doing that as well. To do this, I'm going to point out two sort of important things. One is that there is something called the recycling bin, and also if you're using email, there's a trash can where basically anything that you delete is stored, and it's important to know where these things are so that if you do accidentally delete something, you can find them and you can recover them. And then next thing is that I'm going to show you where some of the sort of important files and folders are for your computer that are needed for your computer to work. And I'm going to just say these are where they are. Now make sure you leave them alone. Don't delete them, don't change them, just leave them how they are. Alright, so we'll start with the recycling bin. This is sometimes also called the trash can or just the bin. And this is a place where all of the things that you delete on your computer will end up. And I'll go through a little example of how that works. So first off, where is the recycling bin? Well, for me in my computer, I've got it up here in the top left hand corner, and you can see it's called recycling bin. On your computer you may actually need to find it, so you can go down to this little search bar and you can type in recycling, if I can spell it. There we go, and it's coming up with the option for recycle bin here, and I can click on that and it will open it. So both ways work. Whichever way works for you, find the recycling bin and open it. Now for me, it says here that this folder is empty, and that's because I haven't deleted anything recently, so there's nothing in there. And think of it like a literal waste basket. Every now and then it gets emptied. So every, I think 30 days for me, it gets emptied. And then that means that anything in there will be permanently deleted. And that's why it's important to know about this, because if you make a mistake, you delete something, you can recover it. I'll show you how to do that now with a worked example. So here I have some different documents, and I've labelled them my important doc 2, and my important doc 3. To delete a document, you right click and then you click delete, and that has now been deleted. And so you might think, where has this gone? Well, it's gone to the recycling bin. I'm going to delete these ones as well. Right click, delete, right click, then left click on the delete. There you go, so they're gone now, they've disappeared from my folder. But they are in fact in my recycling bin. So if I head over to there and then double left click on that, you can see that they've been moved to the recycling bin. Now if I left these, if I didn't do anything about this, in 30 days time these would be deleted permanently. But if I wanted to keep these, as I've said these are my important documents, then I have a period of time, I have 30 days or so to check my recycling bin and restore them. So to do that, it's very similar. You hover over the one you want, you right click, and then you click restore, and do the same again, restore, right click, restore. So now if I move back to my first folder where I opened up, you can see they're back. And so that's great. So it's restored them back to where they were meant to be, and that means they won't be deleted anymore. So it means that I've recovered them. Now there's a similar process now for this with emails and for any different application that you use. So it's a good idea when you're just getting to know how to use a different application to find out where the trash can is, or the bin is, or the recycling can, whatever they call it. Find out where it is so that you can know how to restore things if you accidentally delete something. Alright, so in this next section I'm going to talk a little bit about the files and folders that your computer needs to run properly, where to find these files and folders, and basically to say just leave them alone, don't delete them, don't change them, and everything should run just fine. So to find them, I'm going to show you, we're going to open up this file explorer. So this is for our Windows computer, and if you haven't done the tutorial on the files and folders, I'd advise you to have a look at that maybe before this section. But what we're going to do is head over to where it says this PC, and then we can see this thing here where it says OSC, and this is where everything on the computer is stored. Now the things that we're used to using is under, if we go through users, that's where we find documents, pictures, downloads, videos, all the things that we've been doing in the other lessons. This is where you store your own content, where you can store your photos, store your documents, your videos and that lot. So that's where everything's stored, is under users, and that's what we're used to using. But you can also see under this OSC that there's some other folders, and some of these are called program files x86, and Windows. I'm just going to have a little look inside of them and you'll see all of these different things, okay? And these are all different programs that the computer needs to run properly. Some of it gets very complicated and technical. I'm not going to go into the detail of what is in there. But the bottom line is, don't delete these folders. Don't delete Windows or program files, and don't really delete anything that's in these folders either. It's just best to leave them alone if you want your computer to work. And you know, these things are kind of designed for people who want to do a bit of software development, or if they're doing something a bit more advanced. Generally speaking, it's best to stick to things that are in your documents, your pictures, your desktop, your downloads. Those are things that if you delete, it might be annoying because you might be like, oh, I wanted that, but it's not going to affect the running of your computer. But the same doesn't go for the program files. So that's it really. It's just a little tip, and it's just something to be aware of.